Hello and welcome to InvestorToday.ca. I'm your host, Dave Glover. InvestorToday.ca is brought to you in conjunction with RBL Communications, your online IR professionals. Joining me today is Mr. Patrick Johnson, who is the Director of Corporate Development, the newly appointed Director of Corporate Development for DoMark International. DoMark International, which trades on the OTCBB under the symbols DOMK. Now, I want to welcome you to the show, Patrick. Welcome.
Hey, how are you?
It's great to be able to talk to you, and I know you're really busy. You've just you've been signing endorsement deals and bringing new folks into, Musclefoot primarily. But let's talk about DoMark International first, if we could. What exactly is DoMark International?
DoMark is a marketing company that provides the marketing budgets for its subsidiaries that produce consumer products. That's the way it sits for right now. Obviously, if we enter into a joint venture agreement with another property that's outside of our umbrella, you just kind of work out a compensation split based on revenues, you know. But for right now, we're primarily basically just providing marketing budgets for our subsidiaries, and however we market those consumer products, be it via the internet, via print, via television, we provide all those marketing budgets, whether we're making commercials or doing print ads or you name it. DoMark, the parent, basically provides those budgets.
Right, so your job is to get the product out in front of consumers then, really, is to so folks can see what it is, get an idea of how it works, and you guys also provide all the promo necessary to keep it at the forefront.
Exactly.
Right. Well, let's talk about the two companies that we're interested in primarily, which is SoloWorks. Now, SoloWorks, can we talk about that? How does that work, and where is it going?
Well, you know, initially when the company was taken over, SoloWorks was the lone subsidiary that was owned by DoMark, and it is a company that produces solar-powered iPhone and iPad charger cases. They're actually pretty cool devices where you can hook your iPhone or iPad up to this device and recharge your phone, and there's a solar panel on the back of it. So, like, if you need to charge your phone or iPad, you basically can just sit this thing out in the sun, and it'll charge.
Wow! Now, does it work? does it only work for the iPad or iPhone products at this time?
Yeah, yes, sir. Those are the only applications that there is right now. You know, we haven't, looked at any other applications to date, but it's, things have been so hectic from just from a standpoint of taking over the company and basically rewriting your business plan as to how you want to see the company go. It's been quite hectic over the past 6 to 8 weeks, let's just put it that way.
Well, and you've just been brought on board as well, haven't you, Patrick?
Yes, sir. I've just been brought on maybe 7 weeks ago. This is a great opportunity for me, being 35 years old, being on senior management of a publicly traded company. I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I started my own company way back while I was playing in the NFL, and learning the business side of things, good and bad. Really since I was about 23 years old. The fact that now I'm in a position where I can steer a publicly traded company and grow it, it's a good opportunity for me.
Well,
I have no complaints.
You mentioned your experience. I mean, being a professional athlete, part of your job, obviously, is to market yourself, really, isn't it? So, I mean, your experience marketing yourself as a professional athlete, I mean, you've been on some championship teams. You've had quite an amateur athletic record as well. I understand you even beat Carl Lewis, who was the fastest man in the world at one point in a foot race.
Yeah. I at one point I was actually, when I was 19 years old, I was the only American that was world ranked in 3 events. I wound up having to pick a sport, and I don't regret, choosing football, just from the standpoint of, in track and field, you have to be 100% at all times in order to make money. And in football, you can be 75, 80% and wrap up your hamstring and go catch 2 or 3 balls and maybe score the game-winning touchdown.
Right.
So it just made more sense to me to just, go that route. But there are no regrets. I actually I had a lot of friends that that I ran track with, both collegiately and in high school. those guys went on and won medals in the Olympics, and so I always lived through those guys during that time, and then now, being able to still have good relationships in the sport, to be able to provide those guys with opportunities to really, for those guys to make money, for those guys to basically, because I understand what it's like being a professional athlete and how important it is for you to market yourself and brand yourself. So it feels good to be able to help those guys out.
Well, it sounds to me like DoMark's got a really good fit then for their new corporate development individual. That sounds to me like you're a driven fella, and I mean, you have to be driven to be a professional athlete. I want to move on, if we can, to Musclefoot, which is the barefoot science insoles. Now, and I'm going to go back to this, you being a professional athlete aspect of it, because this is a product that goes into your shoe. This is a product you can use when you're running, when you're walking, even using it in professional competition. And can we talk something about that?
Yeah. Barefoot science is something that I'm very passionate about because I've seen it work firsthand. Prior to me coming on to this job, I was training to post a qualifying time for the Olympic trials myself. And, unfortunately, the first qualifying meet, I sustained an injury, which didn't allow me to further. But with all that being said, if it weren't for those insoles, it would have been virtually impossible for me to endure the kind of training volume that I had to do, while training. I mean, it just wouldn't have been possible.
Right.
I ran 8 miles yesterday. And, with the amount of volume that I already have on my legs due to my career as a runner, it's just there's no way that I can still do what I can do with no pain. So saying all of that, this technology is a patented technology that it's different than an orthotic. An orthotic is, and you know what an orthotic is. Orthotic is an insert that you put in your shoe, and it is a cushion and a brace. So when you put your foot in it, when you put your foot in your shoe, it feels good. It feels good when you put it in there, but it really doesn't correct the problem. It is a cushion and a brace. Where barefoot science, this technology, this depending on the insert that you have, it actually makes the muscles in your feet fire, where it rebuilds your arch. And once your arch is rebuilt, it takes pressure off of other parts of your body, such as your ankles, your knees, your hips, your low back. It increases your balance 50% when you initially put them in your shoes. It increases your balance 50%.
Wow. So this is a product that anybody can use, really.
Well, there's 3 different versions. There's a therapeutic version, which is a 7-step version. There's an active version, which is for people who are, if you're a football player or you're active, you play tennis or racquetball or anything that's active, there's a version for that. And then there's a multi-purpose version. And all 3 of them come in a 3/4 length, which is like a 3/4 length of your shoe, or a full version, or full size, or full insert. It's something that I've never seen before. It totally makes sense. I have flat feet, and while I was playing in the NFL, I had plantar fasciitis really bad, which is a complicated way to say you have a bad heel bruise. You ever had one of those?
No, but I know folks that have had the plantar fasciitis. It's very painful, very painful.
And it got to the point where all of my trainers would actually build arches into my shoe for me, or tape my ankles in a way to where my feet kind of made an arch. And I had to practice and play like that. So this technology, if I had it while I was playing, I would have increased my career probably by 3 years, 3 or 4 years maybe. And the reason why I know that is because I would have sustained less lower extremity injuries like calf strains, even sprained ankles because your balance is increased. Just by those 2 alone, I would have spent less time off the field from injury, which would have enabled me to put up more stats from being on the field, which would have enabled me to get bigger contracts.
Right.
And once you get a bigger contract, teams have to keep you for a longer period of time. So I'll probably, without really guessing, could have easily, furthered my career another 2.5, 3 years, 2-3 years for sure. So I'm really passionate about it. And, the thing of it is now that we're increasing our exposure online, I mean, that's one of the things that we've been working on from a marketing standpoint is putting ourselves in position for people to see us the right way.
Absolutely.
Obviously, Barefoot Science, Musclefoot Inc. is an exclusive marketing agent for Barefoot Science. That's what we're doing is basically getting the message out correct. With two endorsements of Nick Simmons and Will Clay, they're two world-class athletes. These guys are no slouches. Will is only 21 years old. He could wind up with 2 medals in the Olympics this year. Nick, hopefully, he made it to the semis in 2008, but he's coming into his own now. He's a good buddy of mine. I hope he can bring home a medal. With those 2 guys right now, plus coming into football season, they're guys calling us now from the NFL wanting the product.
Well, that was going to be my next question, actually. Is, how has the word gotten out into the professional athletic world? And I know, as you mentioned, Musclefoot is now at the Olympics this year in London at 2012. But you must be getting calls from other fellas like yourself who have suffered injury, who are saying, geez, you know what? I've been talking to Patrick Johnson, and he's telling me that he probably could have extended his career if he'd had this product. I want to see if I can extend my career.
Yeah, what's going to happen is obviously with the time that I've been on this, which is a very short period of time, the amount of traction that we've been able to make in the sports world, I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give us a 10. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. But, actually, we want to basically, we got to take our time because what's going to happen is, it's gonna be a situation where it'll just be nuts. Everybody's gonna want this because everybody should wear it. It's not just the sportsmen. Anybody who stands on their feet all day, police officers, nurses, waitresses,
right?
Anybody.
Well, that's it. So we've got a wonderful product in the Barefoot Science. We've got Musclefoot, which is, you said, the exclusive provider for Barefoot Science, which is your patented product. We've been talking to Patrick Johnson. The company is DoMark International. DoMark International, which trades on the OTCBB under the symbol DOMK. You can check out their website, www.domarkintl.com, or you can check out Musclefoot Inc. at www.musclefoot.com. Go to www.barefootscience, that's barefoot/science.com, or SolarWorks, which is the solar-powered charger and case for iPods and iPhones. I want to thank Patrick Johnson. Patrick, anything you want to send out there to the investors, sort of a last word?
Well, yeah, obviously, when we took over the company, obviously, we had to kind of figure out where everything was, and, we've had some issues with, big-time shorts coming in that's been knocking down the price. But, one of the things that I would want investors to know is that, we're a real company. This isn't a smoke and mirrors type of deal. I wouldn't be affiliated with it because I wouldn't want to risk my name behind anything like that. And we're interested in basically doing the right things by our investors and selling a whole bunch of product.
Absolutely. Can we talk about the share price?
Sure, we can talk about it.
What's it trading at right now? Do you know?
Right today, we're trading at about 43, but we've been shorted heavily over the last 2.5 weeks. But for us, taking over the business, the share price is really not. It's a concern for us. But at the end of the day, producing product and profits is what we're interested in doing. Right. And then because the stock price is going to take care of itself as long as we're selling product.
Absolutely. So maximizing shareholder value is what we're talking about here, folks. And I've been talking to Patrick Johnson, as I said, who is the Director of Corporate Development for DoMark International. Thank you again, Patrick. And I want to thank the listeners for tuning in. I'm Dave Glover. This is InvestorToday.ca. We'll see you next time.